This is Kevin Pruitt with Rising Tide Startups, and my guest today is Derek Bouza. Derek, welcome back to Rising Tide.
Hey, Kevin, I'm so excited to be back on the show with you.
Hey, I have, I've kept up with you, like I said, on social media, some Instagram thing and Facebook, but it's good to reconnect on Zoom here. And Derek was an early guest on Rising Tide, and he had one of the most interesting, I think, subjects that we've ever talked about in drone videography. So just remind everybody who Derek Bouza is.
Well, I'm Derek Bouza. I'm currently located in Nashville, Tennessee, where I started my Ninth Planet Media aerial company. We specialize in drones, business promotion using drones and videography, getting that different angle on things, because today visual advertising is everything.
Absolutely. I'm taxing my brain here a little bit, but I remember that you kind of got started maybe in the real estate space early. You did a lot of work there, but you kind of expanded into other areas. So what are you primarily engaged in now? Like is it weddings? Is it real estate? Is it movies? Or is it a little bit of everything?
Absolutely. I got started in real estate. I got different jobs, different odd jobs, a lot in real estate. It turned into commercial and then documentary movie making, which was all word of mouth. I'm very lucky that my word of mouth got out there to everybody that knows that I do this. And I've been very lucky to travel to Switzerland filming. I was in Peru twice working on a documentary on the Amazon River. But that was about a year ago. These days, I'm really focusing on the future of Ninth Planet Media. I'm trying to gain as much knowledge as I can so in the future I could start to make my own drones and start my own softwares. And, right now I'm attending MTSU for the aerospace program. So hopefully in the future, that will definitely benefit my business, because one thing that cannot be taken away from you is knowledge.
So are you going to be the only drone pilot on the planet that's also like an aerospace engineer when you're done here?
That sounds interesting, hopefully, but no, there's other people in the program. I'm lucky to be in Tennessee because MTSU has one of the best aerospace programs in the United States, other than Embry-Riddle in Florida. So once I get over there within the next 2 years to finish that bachelor's, that's just going to be excellent because I'm excited to get that knowledge. It's just, there's no roof for the knowledge I'm trying to get to further create my business.
Sure.
Because I just feel that I'm so young and I have so much more to do. So
remind us once again, just real quick story, how did you get involved in kind of the drone space in the first place?
Well, it was about 5 or 6 years ago. It was a small conversation that I actually had with my brother. He mentioned these drones were coming out, and I just thought about it and said, man, what a great idea that these are to capture different images from the sky. I mean, this is a market that's going to blow up. And I was thinking that in 2014, 2015. So and they've already blown up. So if you could just imagine to 2025, they're just going to be rampant drones. So it was just an idea that I had, and I took the leap, I took the risk, which I'm sure a lot of business owners take at the beginning. They want to do this, and it's a risk that you have to take. So I just decided to do and put the hard work in, and here I am.
So did you buy a drone first and more for personal use, or did you buy it with the idea that, hey, I'm going to start a business with it?
No, right when I bought the drone, I knew I was going to do it as a business.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty rare, I think, in most entrepreneurial journeys. So
no, I knew it was that time that we are so early in the game in the drone industry. I knew that this was the time to jump in as fast as I can. And at that time, I immediately went through the FAA licensing. I've stayed up to date with FAA just to be able to fly legally for safety concerns and commercial. But yeah, that's definitely how I got started, and it's been pretty good so far.
Were you in video in any capacity before this, or did you kind of have to learn kind of the video side and the drone side at the same time?
I had no experience with videography or photography or anything when I got into drones. I was a lot of learning. I mean, I downloaded a program. My first program was Final Cut Pro, and so I was on there. And the good thing about these days is you can almost find anything out on the internet, on YouTube, any
And
training video, anything you could find. So basically, I taught myself how to edit, how to do sound, and it's just I guess I had a knack for it. It's just when I'm in the program, I tune in, and I just love to edit videos. And so
you got to start with good raw material, and some of the footage that you shot with your drones. I mean, I think back of the, last year when you sent me the links of, your videography in Switzerland, flying down through those valleys and, over those rivers, just incredible footage. And if you start with, really good kind of input, it's easier to come out with good output for sure.
absolutely. And when I fly, I want people to experience where I am as much as possible. So I do external recording because drones do not record sound.
Hmm.
So I get another microphone and I mic the surroundings of what's going on because I want people to feel just where I'm flying. And that's why I try and make these cinematic videos,
Yeah.
because when you see my videos on Instagram, my main goal is to make you feel like you're there.
You have accomplished it, my friend.
Great.
By watching those videos, and I mean, what a great idea to set up a mic, in the same setting that you're filming. So let's take a journey back. What's been going on the last 6 months, and how have things changed for Derek and for Ninth Planet Media in the last 6 months or so?
Well, I've been doing a lot of documentary work in the past 6 months, I'd say. I just did a project for an artist called Harold Finster, and his place is in northern Alabama, so I went on a documentary and did that. And just a lot of random jobs I've been doing. A lot of commercial properties, construction. I've been working with a roofing company, Music City Roofers here in Nashville, and with them, it's the drone is awesome because instead of somebody climbing up on these industrial properties, you just put a drone up, get right there, and you could see exactly what the problem is. I've
Right.
also been taking after photos. They complete a roof, and I just
Mhm.
show them the completed product. So yeah, that's basically every day. I'm going in a direction to advertise myself as much as possible and show people what I could do. That's exactly what I've been thriving on. Also, I think since I spoke with you last, my business has become a LLC.
Okay. Well,
So
you were kind of thinking, I think, in those terms when we first talked. You were thinking about heading in that direction. So,
absolutely. So I did it for a while, and I wanted to make sure I was going to be successful for what I do. And I feel that I am. I don't want to sound big headed, but I it's a dream to be able to do what I really enjoy for work. And I think that's one of my main goals in life. I really enjoy doing that.
right. So have you thought about, doing this like almost on the road? So, how do you combine, working remotely and doing it, drone footage and, all these things instead of being necessarily being based in Nashville, so to speak, and just traveling? Have you thought about actually, going on the
I
road long term?
I love to travel.
Hmm.
So I will travel anywhere in the world to show my services or provide my services. So that is no issue. I think that Nashville is almost centralized in the
Kind of
United
home base.
States.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really could access everywhere in the United States very easily. So just a few months ago, I was actually working in Fort Myers, Florida, for
Mhm.
a basketball thing that was associated with ESPN. So that wasn't too bad. I was down there for 2 days. I have family down there, so it was a good time,
Yeah.
pleasure and work trip. So
Are you finding yourself still having to hustle to kind of fill your schedule, or is word of mouth and referrals and things like that? I mean, how would you gauge maybe the percentage of things that you have to hustle up versus things that actually come to you?
you have to stay hustling in this industry because there's always somebody behind you that's trying to take your job.
Mm,
So at no moment do I just think that, hey, I'm getting enough business, so I don't need to promote. And the only thing that is working for me now, to be honest, is word of mouth. Because when I work with these film producers or real estate agents, or architects, when they hear, hey, I'm looking for a drone pilot, they refer me. A lot of the times the calls that I get are, hey, I heard from so and so that you fly a drone and you could do this. And to be honest, that is the most effective way I've been getting business.
mhm.
I've done the Facebook advertising,
Right.
where you pay to advertise to Facebook. And to be honest, I haven't had much success with that. But at the same time, there's also, that's a whole job of itself, online marketing. I mean, you have to know, that's something that I'm not familiar with.
Mhm.
but I do the best that I can. But I haven't gotten that much luck. I use social media now as a platform to just show videos, and
And
just say,
so,
hey, I was
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So, and every time I finished up with a client, I ask him how the job went. Do you enjoy what I've done? Do you enjoy the footage? And I say, a couple weeks later, I say, hey, do you mind coming on my Facebook page or my website and leaving a review? Because people like seeing reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So the most reviews, good reviews that you're getting, somebody that goes on your page says, hey, this person has worked with other people. He did a good job. I'm going to give him a chance.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's how I feel over the years gets me the most business.
Do you also ask for referrals from clients when you're talking to them, like if real estate agents, hey, do you know any other real estate agents that might need this service or looking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nashville is a booming real estate market right
No
now.
doubt.
Almost everybody is a real estate agent.
Hmm.
So, so there's that whole network. Something I did, I maybe have told you on the last podcast, but I actually went to a real estate class to get my license, not to sell houses, but just to promote myself with the people in the room. I haven't sold a house. I just wanted to get in with the real
Right.
estate people, and it's helped.
Right.
It's just putting yourself and going out to these places to where you could get potential
Hmm.
clients. And I know in Nashville they have small business outings, where they
Right.
get together and it's different small business owners and we discuss about what's going on in their business and how we could help each other out. And that's another great thing. I've tried to do that as well.
You done any like events, like I mean, real estate conferences or anything like that, where you set up a little booth or anything in like the event space at all?
No, I haven't done event spaces like that. No, I haven't gotten into that yet, but that's something that I would consider doing. The only thing I've done where I've had like a booth was that when I got back from Peru, I went to a school here in Nashville, and it was an elementary school, and I was showing them the technology. But
Right.
it is very young kids, but also at that age, it's very interesting,
Oh
and
yeah.
they could capture that new technology, and it's something that they may want to do when they're older, which will be beneficial for them because by the time they're my age, drones will be everywhere by
It's
that
everywhere.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus,
So,
those kids have parents that have jobs.
yeah,
So
exactly,
when they go home and say, "Hey, Dad, the coolest thing at school, this guy came and brought his drone and showed us how he could do video, and he's got a business." And you never know
exactly.
when one of those kids could be your best source of referrals. So
It really is. You never know when and who could help you get your next job.
exactly, no doubt about it.
So
No doubt about it. Well, I want to ask you one more question, then we're going to kind of wrap up with a new section that we call the Rising Tide Micro Course. But the question I've got is, how have you seen maybe your team change in the last year, or what are your plans for, do you have plans for expanding, or you just want to be a one person, shop, or what does that look like in the last 6 to 12 months?
I would love to expand. Once the moment where I'm getting too many jobs to where I can't be at two places at one time
Mhm.
will be the moment that I hire a FAA 107 pilot to work under me. And that is something that I have no issue with, and because that means growth.
Mhm. So
So
that's kind of that's maybe the next step in your expansion plans, as just as business grows, you can kind of scale up and add another. And it's almost infinitely scalable. I mean, as business increases, you can just keep adding, pilots, and maybe you will have to have a virtual assistant or an admin at some point in time to kind of do some of the back office stuff that you worry about, whether it's accounting or billing or whatever. But
absolutely. No, I would definitely love to expand in the future. Hopefully it will be within the year.
right.
But yeah, that would be great. I've also been giving drone lessons a lot more, getting people ready to take their FAA certification test.
Hmm.
I've been training how to, unpack your drone and fly for the first time. Here in Nashville is a very creative city.
Hmm.
There's a lot of filmmakers here. A lot of the calls that I get is, "Hey, I'm a filmmaker. I want to bring, drones into my arsenal. Can you train me to use this drone?" The last, that Harold Finster documentary I was on, the lady who was the producer said, "Hey, Derek, I'm going to buy a drone because I want you to teach me what you do. I want to get involved." The next day she bought a drone,
Mm.
and then I was to teach her how to use it. So
So I mean, it sounds like you've got some additional avenues of revenue that are maybe coming in with, whether it's drone lessons or videography, or even, helping people, pass maybe their FAA licensing, or any of those things that, that you've already kind of walked that path. But
sure, there's a lot of advertising for the FAA tests. There's so many things that I see pop up just online and in
Mhm.
Facebook that say, "Hey, this program will help you pass your FAA test." But I just thought, hey, I could do this. I could teach people how to do this. I've
Yep.
taken the test. I know what's on it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's successful, and I like seeing people pass the test and becoming successful. The people that I train or would be people that I would hire
Hmm.
in the future.
Right. And there's something about, I mean, there's a lot of, there's probably a lot of crazy drone pilots out there that are not licensed, that have just bought a drone off Amazon, and they're just up flying it wherever, and,
Absolutely.
doing crazy things and unsafe things. And don't give drone
Absolutely.
pilots a bad name.
You hit that on the head. There is a lot of people out here doing it illegally, but it shows.
Mhm.
If I go up to a client and say, "Hey, I'm a certified FAA 107 pilot. I have 5 years of experience in other all over the world," versus someone that says, "Hey, I don't have insurance or a drone license," the client would want to go with me, and that brings me back to the education aspect. When I say, "Hey, I have a bachelor's in aerospace. I also have my FAA licenses. Let's get this done. Let's get your project done."
Right. Right. And that
So
there's an increased trust level. So, which is a great segue into kind of our final segment here. Is our micro course. So, touch on maybe two or three things that I say a potential client would need to think through. Why would I go with Ninth Planet Media? What benefits could Ninth Planet Media provide for, my event, or if I'm a real estate agent, or if it's a wedding, or I want to film my, aerial footage, or of a documentary or something. To kind of walk us through that real quick.
So the first thing I would say is just ease of access of having a drone. When
Okay.
you have a drone, you're able to show images that are impossible to have unless you were to hire a helicopter.
Right.
So I would ask a client, "Are you willing to pay that extra money for a helicopter when you could have a drone for a fraction of the cost and get the same job done?" and more efficiently. You could get more jobs done quickly than a helicopter could. Back to back. It's an infinite about how much work you could get done with a drone.
Right. Plus,
So
it's its own videographer. You have to have a helicopter pilot, a videographer. I mean, all these things.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So yeah, just the access of having one, and then I would bring the ease of use part. The being safe, knowing how to operate the drone.
Right.
Safety is a very important discussion when it comes to drones. I'm sure you've heard in the news the last year about the guys flying drones at the airport and
Yeah. Shut down the
making
airport.
oh yeah, that gives people like me very bad, just a bad image. But like I said, that's not safe, and those people aren't, with it.
Mm-hmm. And
And
you
I'd say
mentioned
that
also insurance too. I mean, just the safety of having, liability insurance and experience and certifications and training and stuff like that all would add to your know-how of how to not only how to operate efficiently and effectively, but also safely.
absolutely, some people don't know that don't have insurance. They don't think it would happen to them.
Mm,
If you're flying a drone not insured without a license and you crash into their building and break something, you're very liable for that. So
right.
it's very important to have that safety blanket of insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I didn't
and
mean to knock you off track there. So the first two I had were like access, and then the second one was like know-how. And what was the third point?
I'd say the third point is having that creative eye,
For sure.
just being creative. When I'm in the air flying the drone, it's just me and the drone. And what I'm trying to accomplish is getting that cinematic shot.
Mm,
So you would have to have that the capability of having the creative eye to say, hey, what will other people think is cool in this video? What should I be filming that's eye-catching? People fly drones. I see a lot of pilots, and they fly in wide open areas and just fly straight and high. You need to catch. It's eye-catching. All the videos that I make, there has to be something in there. They're like, man, how did this guy get this footage?
yeah.
Because as if you were a client, having that creative eye, that's what brings in the business, because you want to be the best. You want to be the best at what you do.
Right. And I mean, seeing some of your previous, video, I mean, you've got good equipment too. You've got equipment that can fly at a high level. You can, that is it has a smooth, it's not kind of, jerky when you're watching the video,
Yeah,
and it's high resolution. And I mean, it's all the things that you would want if you're going to pay to have this done, but in a just a beautiful shot from the air, from an aerial view.
absolutely. And it's just, in today's world, it's visual advertising. People go on their social media and they want to see videos of this company. What are they doing? That's what I provide. That's what a drone could provide. That's what the creative eye could provide,
Right.
is showing what you could get at a low cost, but the best cinematic view that you could get using a drone. And that's what I try and promote, and that's where I come in.
Plus, I mean, everybody's got an iPhone now, so everybody's a videographer, but not everybody can take that view from the sky. I mean,
Exactly.
that is the real differentiation.
Well, you could have a $10,000 camera and you can't get the same views that a drone could get. If
Right.
Kevin, I challenge you, next time you're watching TV, just think to yourself, how many times are you seeing drone footage?
Mm.
Footage flying over. When I watch TV or movies, I constantly say I drive my wife crazy because I'm always like, drone, 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 that's a drone. And some of the shows are more than half. I mean, that's
Oh
more
yeah.
than half of what it is. The Discovery Channel, all
Oh,
those,
for sure.
the nature shows, all drone.
Yep.
So
One other thing I noticed is like Apple TV in their
Apple TV.
screensaver, when if you leave Apple TV on,
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
yeah.
drone footage. It's over airports. It's over cities. It's over. I mean, the whole screensaver is just drone video. So
Exactly, because it's like I said, it's eye catching.
yeah,
When you
exactly.
see a photo just from a camera on the ground of, let's say, an attractive river, and then
Right.
you see drone footage over the river, it's like you're flying.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different.
Yeah, and that's what made me get into it. I enjoy seeing people's faces. I enjoy seeing my clients' faces when I say, "Hey, this is yours and this is for your business."
Mm.
You know, for instance, if you saw my barge video,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
that's going to be on their website, and that's visual. That's 2019 visual advertising.
Yeah.
So
And a unique perspective.
exactly.
Well, thanks for kind of wrapping up the micro course. I mean, the 3 points that you touched on are just, hey, this is the only way you can get access. Unless you've got a helicopter, this is the only way you can get that view, or if you're a bird or a helicopter, or a drone. Those are
Yeah,
the only three options you got. The second is just, kind of safe usage and experience and security through, just know-how. And then the third was that I really liked the third point that you touched on was really that creative eye. I mean, you can operate it safely and you can actually fly, but can you really capture this breathtaking video, in such a way that it really kind of brings it all together in a nice package. So, I mean, I want to encourage our listeners and those that would view this video later to really consider, utilizing drone videography in their projects or in their events, and just really see the difference that video at this scale can make. And
absolutely. And I'm 100% open. All of your listeners, if they've ever thought about getting into the drone industry, I love answering questions and I love talking about drones. So feel free to contact me at any time if you want to get into this industry.
Well, Derek, we just been a great just circling back with you and just kind of getting a kind of a 6 month recap on how things are going in Nashville and with Ninth Planet Media. And is there any last second thing you just want to finish with and just remind people how they can get in touch with you?
Well, I'm here in Nashville. My business name is Ninth Planet Media, www.ninthplanetmedia.com. I'm also on Facebook. Yeah, come check me out. I'd love for you to see my stuff and message me. I love interacting with people in the industry, and I want to thank you so much for having me back on the show.
Hey, it's been great having you, Derek, and I really appreciate. I mean, I love the space that you operate in, but I also just appreciate just your friendship and just interaction we've had on camera, and just the way that you are so open and you really truly want to help all boats rise in a rising tide. Derek, thanks again
Absolutely,
for joining us.
absolutely. Thank you very much.
Great to see you.